March 30th, 2026, a Wednesday afternoon in Vanderbijl Park, a woman steps out of a tire fitting shop. It's broad daylight. The police station is meters away. Her name is Martha Mani Rantsofu. She's 39 years old, an acting accountant for the Emfuleni local municipality. In a few months, she would have graduated with an honors degree in public relations from the University of South Africa. She never makes it back to her car though. CCTV footage shows a man approaching her from behind. He fires, she falls. Then, and this is the part that's haunting, he stands over her and shoots more rounds into her head, point blank, and then he runs to a getaway vehicle. No robbery, no argument, just an execution. This is the ghost fleet. Today, the assassination of Martha, the arrest of a young woman named Janitha van Reenen, and the terrifying pattern of South African professionals being killed for doing their jobs. Let's get into it. To understand why Martha Rantsofu died, you have to understand what she saw inside Emfuleni's books. The Emfuleni local municipality has a long, documented history of financial mismanagement. And what Rantsofu uncovered went beyond incompetence. It was active looting. First, the ghost fleet. The municipality paid for 17 vehicles. Only 6 were delivered. 11 simply don't exist, except on paper. And one of the 6 that did arrive, it disappeared. No trace. Total loss. Apparently 16 million rand. Second, a billing fraud scheme worth about 424,000 rand. Here's how it worked. Someone inside or somebody contacted the municipality, allegedly posing as an independent agent, offered residents discounted settlement options on their overdue municipal accounts. Victims paid cash, but the money never reached the municipality. It vanished. Rantsofu flagged suspicious claims. She started an internal process, and within weeks, she was dead. Her brother told reporters that the shooter was sent to make sure that she did not see the sun the next morning. That's not a random killing. It's a message. Now we need to get into the arrests of Janitha van Reenen. For 2 months, police had little to go on. The case was transferred to the PKTT, a specialized unit created to handle assassinations that look professional and feel political. Then on May 20th, 2026, they made an arrest, not a hitman, a 25-year-old woman, Janitha van Reenen. Van Reenen is charged with fraud, specifically the billing scheme. But here's where it gets interesting. Police sources say Van Reenen told investigators she knows who ordered Martha Rantsofu's murder and who pulled the trigger. That makes her the single most important witness or accomplice in this case. On the 1st of June 2026, she appeared in the Vanderbijl Park Magistrates Court seeking bail. Magistrate Maburu denied it. The reasons? Van Reenen couldn't verify her address. She gave false information to the police, and the court noted that she admitted to having knowledge of how and who a state witness, Rantsofu, was killed. The magistrates also cited flight risk and witness interference. But let's be clear, denying bail for a 25-year-old woman on fraud charges is unusual, unless the court believes she's a direct contact connected to a murder. She remains in custody. The case is postponed to the 23rd of June 2026. Now we need to make a critical analysis of the problem with Van Reenen. Because the facts raise more questions than answers. Van Reenen is 25. She's accused of 424,000 Rand fraud. That's not nothing, but it's also not 60 million Rand. The Ghost Fleet scandal, that's the big money. And so far, no one has been arrested for that. So here's the first question. Was Van Reenen a mastermind or a pawn? If she knows who ordered the hit, why hasn't she named them yet? Is she trading information for a reduced sentence, or is she afraid? Secondly, the police say that she provided false information. That's a problem for two reasons. One, it undermines her credibility as a witness. Two, it suggests she may have been involved in planning the murder, not just about knowing about it after the fact. Third, the political killings task team made the arrests. That means SAPS classified this as a political killing. But Mfuleni is a municipality, not a national department. So what makes this political? The answer? Any killing intended to silence somebody exposing state corruption. That's the definition that prosecutors are using more and more. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Van Reenen is a convenient arrest, a young, low-level operative. The Ghost Fleet, the 60 million Rand, remains unaccounted for, and no one has been charged with pulling the trigger. Now we have to look at the broader pattern of things. South Africa's age of assassins. Now, Martha Rantsofu is not alone. She's one of at least 10 professionals assassinated in South Africa in the last 3 years for work that threatened illicit financial networks. Let me give you the roll call. 2021, Babita Deokaran, a whistleblower at Tembisa Hospital who flagged billions in looting. She was gunned down outside her home. 2023, Cloete, Thomas, and Murray, insolvency practitioners, killed during high-stakes liquidations. 2025, Bouwer van Niekerk, an attorney who received threats 1 week before his murder. His mother, Amy van Niekerk, told investigators, "I told the investigating officer that I just don't want the hitman to be brought to justice, but also the mastermind." That quote is the whole problem in one sentence. Hitmen are caught, masterminds walk. Michael McLagan from the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime put it bluntly. They are criminal actors with a lot to lose, so they'll use a murder as a means to protect themselves. Those disrupting illicit finance bear the greatest risk. And Business Against Crime South Africa added, South Africa cannot afford a system where accountability triggers violence, and violence goes unpunished. Now, there is a gap in this investigation. We need to go back to Mfuleni, because the pattern here is textbook. You have a low-level employee, Rantsofu, who uncovers fraud. She reports it internally. Within weeks, she's dead. Then police arrest somebody connected to the fraud, Van Reenen, but not to the shooting. And the larger scheme, the 60 million Rand Ghost Fleet, is never mentioned in the bail hearing. That's the gap. If Van Reenen is the link, why hasn't she been charged with murder or conspiracy? She's facing Schedule 5 fraud charges. That's serious. But it's not premeditated murder. The state is either protecting her as a witness, or they don't have enough evidence to charge her with the killing. And what about the Ghost Fleet? 17 vehicles, 11 are missing, 1 is stolen. Someone signed those contracts. Someone approved the payments. Where are those people? The political killings task team has a reputation for solving who pulled the trigger, but the financial tracing, following the money to the top, is their weakest link. Without forensic accountants embedded in the team, the masterminds will keep hiring new hitmen. Where are we now? June 23, 2026. Van Reenen returns to court. If she names the shooters, we see arrests within weeks. If she doesn't, or if her information is deemed unreliable, the murder investigation stalls. Meanwhile, the Ghost Fleet case is either being investigated separately or it's not being investigated at all. We don't know. The municipality has not released a public statement. No one has been suspended. No forensic audit has been announced. That silence is damning. Because here's the systemic failure. Martha Rantsofu was a reserve clerk who got promoted to acting accountant. She wasn't a politician or a journalist. She was a public servant, and the system failed to protect her. Her case was transferred to the political killings task team only after she was dead. Before that, no security assessment, no threat warning, no intervention. And now her family is left with a CCTV video of her execution and a 25-year-old fraud suspect who claims to know the truth but won't or can't say it out loud. Martha Rantsofu was supposed to graduate in June 2026. Instead, her name is written into a growing ledger of South Africans killed not by accident, but by design. The Mfuleni case is a test, not of whether the police can arrest a fraudster. They already did that. The test is whether they connect the billing scheme to the Ghost Fleet, the Ghost Fleet to the murder, and the murder to the people who ordered it. If only Janitha van Reenen goes to prison and the hitman remains free and the Ghost Fleet paymasters remain unnamed, then the message is clear. You can kill a municipal accountant and get away with it as long as you hire someone else to pull the trigger. That's not justice. That's a business model. We will follow the June 23rd hearing. We will ask again, who signed for those 17 vehicles? Where are the missing 11 cars? And why did nobody protect Martha before she walked out of that tire shop?